Good day and welcome to my channel. I am Cerelius, and the question for today is whether or not anxiety is good for us. I am going to say yes, it is. And why am I going to say yes is because just like fear, there's a healthy amount of fear. Fear allows us to respect danger, to prepare for the future, to protect ourselves, to protect our assets, things like that. So anxiety has much the same way, acts the same way. This is a primitive response. It's a self protective mechanisms in our brain. And once it kicks off, it's important to pay attention to it. I am the person who will tell you to reduce your anxieties, be rid of your anxieties. So I'm going to give you an example of why it is good. Children these days are overloaded with anxiety, way too much, more than I think ever in history. I can't go too far back in history, but according to our records, according to what we know now and what we're talking about with the kids these days, they're fully loaded with anxiety. So let's get to the point. Our parents are full of anxieties. Everyone's got anxieties. But one of the things that the parents are doing is they're overshadowing their children. They are actually putting more anxiety on the children with their own anxiety. But, for example, grades. Let's just get to that. Grades. The parents are putting more pressure on the children to get good grades, to the point that children are getting an anxiety about getting good grades for the wrong reasons. Yes, you want your children to want to have good grades and be determined to get good grades. But what's happening is that these children have anxieties over what their parents are going to think about their grade. So if they're going to try hard to make sure their parents are happy, they're going to have anxieties about whether or not once they fail, what their parents are going to think. Other than, here's where the good anxiety comes in. If they were to feel a certain amount of respectable anxiety, like it's a respectable amount, in order for them to get good grades and so that they can take responsibility for that. Whatever path that leads on to, they are responsible for it. So the better the grades, they can move on with that path in their life. And if they fail, then they take responsibility for those things and go along with that. So it's more of a self-determination to do well for their own lives and not the parents. So you see where I'm going with that? Look at it in your own life. Where is the anxieties in your life? And see whether or not they actually pertain to anything that's real and concrete, that's respectable for your responsibilities in life. Yes, as a parent, you're responsible for your children. I get that. I just know someone's going to say something. You're responsible for your children, but you got to let them be responsible as well. So there is a certain amount where you can take off some of your anxiety, or at least if you're going to feel anxiety about your children's grade, don't put so much pressure on them. Allow them to have their own anxiety over their own responsibilities. So thank you very much. Come back, subscribe to the channel, stay in tuned because I'm going to be giving a lot more short videos about, I'm going to narrow down my videos a lot more as opposed to having longer videos covering lots of things. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about things that you're going to want to talk about. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and until next time, take care, and I wish you well.